What is up, mermaids? It's your girl Aaliyah Danae, and welcome back to my channel for yet another YouTube video. What it do? How are you? So as you all know, today is Saturday, which means it's Serial Killer Saturdays. Today, in fact, is the last episode of Serial Killer Saturdays. Volume 1. Volume 1. Don't get it twisted. There's going to be more volumes. This is merely volume 1. So stay tuned next year during spooky season. Oh, and by the way, happy Halloween, y'all. I know while I'm filming this video, it's not Halloween, which is the reason why I'm not dressed up. Also because I just don't feel like dressing up because all of my costumes are in the closet or in the attic. And I don't feel like going to go get them down. Plus, I'm not going to be... Anyway, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. I know the day that I'm filming this video today is not Halloween, but happy Halloween anyways. And today's look is actually going to be pink, as y'all can see by my earrings, because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're going to be doing a pink look today. No, she's not going to be spooky. She's just going to be pink. So y'all going to have to deal with it. Anyway, enough of the buffoonery. And also don't pay attention to this, my edges, because they don't want to get right today. And also don't pay attention to this little piece of hair that I got going on over here. She don't want to get right either, but anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So today's killer that we will be talking about is Nanny Doss, aka the Giggling Granny, aka the Lonely Hearts Killer. So Miss Nanny, Bobanny, Banana Fana, Faux Fanny. Shut up, Leah. So, Miss Nanny was born Nancy Hazel on November 4th, 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. And Blue Mountain, Alabama is actually now known as Anniston, Alabama. She was one of 5 children from her parents, James and Louisa Hazel. So her and her mother, Louisa, did not exactly care too much for James due to him being an overly controlling father and husband. He forced all of his children to work on their farm instead of attending school, which resulted in Nanny's poor academic performance. At the age of 7, Nanny suffered a head injury while the family was taking a train ride to visit relatives in southern Alabama. She ended up hitting her head on a metal bar that was on the seat in front of her when the train stopped abruptly. And this led to her suffering from severe headaches, blackouts, and even depression for several years after that. Not a good start for Miss Nanny. At a young age, Nanny enjoyed reading her mother's romance magazines, dreaming of her own romantic future with her husband and children. And the Lonely Hearts column of the magazines would actually eventually become her favorite section of the magazines. However, her father James interfered with this fantasy by forbidding her and her sisters from wearing makeup and attractive clothing. He also forbade them from going to dances and other social events. And he did all of these things to prevent his daughters from being molested by random men. Unfortunately, that did nothing because Nanny and her sisters would go on to be molested by men for several years on several different occasions, which is just plain awful. Oof. In 1921, at the age of 16, Nanny married her first husband, Charles Charlie Bragg. She had 4 children with him. However, Charlie thought it was rather suspicious when 2 of their healthy children died within a few months of each other. So those 2 children were actually her first 2 victims. It said that they died of food poisoning, but y'all actually believe that. because I don't. Charlie ended up taking their oldest child and fleeing, leaving their other daughter, Florine, with Nanny basically for that time. And apparently he left her because he was scared. He just left her out of fear. But I mean, dad of the year, huh? Other two kids mysteriously die, and you take one child and not the other one. We can tell who's the favorite and who wasn't. After Charlie left, Nanny moved to Cedartown, Georgia with her daughter. There, she met Robert Franklin Frank Harrelson and married him October 22nd, 1929. Florine was then abandoned when she was barely 2 years old by Nanny and her new husband. Mom of the year, huh? Neighbors managed to contact Charlie, her father, and he came and got her, thankfully, and took her to live with him. And that's who she lived with for basically the rest of her childhood. Florine did not see her mother again for about another 9 years or so. On May 25th, 1943, Florine married James D. Mashburn in Etowah County, Alabama. Her father and his new wife, Beatrice Killingsworth, were in attendance, and Beatrice is the one that she listed as her mother on her marriage record. So, new lady in the life was listed as mama and not Miss Nanny. Sucks to suck, sis. During her marriage to Frank, Nanny discovered that he was an alcoholic and he had a criminal record. And on his record, he had been charged with assault. And despite that, they stayed married for 16 years. Now let's get on to the lovely stuff. The stuff that we've all been waiting for. All right, so in 1943, Nanny's eldest daughter, Melvina, the one that Charlie took and fled with, she gave birth to her son, Robert Lee Haynes. Nanny came to care for her after she gave birth to her daughter. So she had her son, Robert Lee Haynes, in 1943, and then over a short period of time, their daughter, who they don't list a name for, was born. And after she gave birth to her, Nanny came to help her. Basically, she came to help her give birth and to help care for her. So Melvina was quite groggy, of course, after giving birth to her daughter. And she stated that she saw her mother stab the baby in the head with a hat pin. When she asked her husband and her sister for clarification, they said that Nanny told them that the baby was dead and she was holding a hat pin. But when they went to the doctors said that they couldn't pinpoint a true diagnosis. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit. Following the death of her daughter, Melvina and her then husband, their relationship kind of soured and they drifted apart. So then she met and started dating a soldier. So of course Nanny did not approve of this. She just didn't like the relationship. She didn't like them being together. And Melvina and Nanny ended up getting into a very, very heated argument over it. While visiting Charlie, Melvina left her son, Robert, in Nanny's care. Big mistake. He mysteriously died on July 7th, 1945. And doctors said that the cause of death was asphyxia. But how it happened was unknown. I need these doctors to figure this shit out. In 1945, also, Japan surrendered at the end of World War II. Her husband, Frank, was one of the many, many people to celebrate. And when I say celebrate, he celebrated hard, honey, hard. After an incredibly heavy night of drinking, he returned home and raped Nanny. Story just keeps getting better and better, don't it? This became pretty much the last straw for her. It was said that while she was tending to her garden the following day, she found his hidden jar of whiskey. And like I said, the rape was the straw that broke the camel's back for her, so she decided to add a little something to his whiskey. She decided to top off his whiskey with just a tinge of rat poison. Tasty. He ended up dying a extremely painful death the exact same night. Cut creases are never the same. Don't judge me. Nanny would go on to kill numerous members of her family, and including multiple husbands following Frank's death. So it says that she's basically had a total of 11 victims, including the ones that I've already told you about so far. Grandma with a year. So let's see, who has this crazy woman killed? So, following her husband, Frank, on September of 1945, she went on to kill her sister, Dovey Weaver, June 30th of 1950. It does not say, I'm going to assume poisoning, because it doesn't say how she killed her, but I'm going to assume poisoning. She went on to kill her mother-in-law, Sarah Lanning, on September 7th of 1950 via poisoning. She killed her third husband, Arlie Lanning, via poisoning on February 16th, 1952. So she killed her mother-in-law, then she killed her husband. Nice lady. Oh, I ain't finished yet. She also went on to kill her mother, Louisa Hazel, January 3rd of 1953 via poisoning while she was caring for her after she hurt her hip. She killed her fourth husband, Richard L. Morton, May 19th of 1953, poisoned. And her final victim, October 12th, 1954, was her fifth and final husband, Samuel Doss. And how did he die? You guessed it, poisoned. Only this time he was poisoned with arsenic. Decided to switch things up, spice things up a little bit. All right, so y'all already know the drill. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the eyes with some lashes. Finish off the face, concealer and whatnot. And we'll come back to do blush, highlighter, and lips. So we can talk about how this insane grandma of the year, mother of the year was finally caught. What it do? I'm back. So let's get on to how this crazy heifer was caught. So as you all know, like I mentioned in the beginning of the story, Nancy liked to read romance novels, and she liked to read romance magazines like what she used to read at a young age. Well, when she married her fifth husband, Samuel Doss, he was a very devout Christian. So he disapproved of the sexual and romantic novels and stories that she would read. They were just romantic. They weren't sexual. They were just romantic. Well, some romance novels can be quite sexual. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, of course, she didn't much like that. I mean, even though he disapproved of the romantic novels, he did genuinely care about her. So even though he disapproved of her reading the novels and magazines, he still like deeply cared for her and loved her, which sucks because clearly she didn't care about him. So of course she poisoned him. So he ended up going to the hospital with flu-like symptoms, and then he was released after he started to feel better. So he was just diagnosed with a severe digestive infection and then was released. But then shortly a few days afterwards, he died because he didn't have an infection. He was poisoned. So, of course, his doctor found that to be quite sus. And he immediately ordered for an autopsy. And y'all, the autopsy report showed that there was enough arsenic in Mr. Doss's system to kill a horse. No words. None. So, of course, after that, Miss Nanny Bobanny was swiftly arrested. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. So, Miss Nanny confessed, of course, that she indeed murdered her husband and that she was in a rush to collect 2 life insurance policies she had taken out on him. She also claimed responsibility for killing other people in her family. In total, she murdered 4 of her husbands, 2 of her children, 2 of her grandchildren, her sister, her mother, and her mother-in-law. You know, and I'll tell you, this lady was nuts. She was certified nuts. Go ahead and slip on my reading glasses for reading the verdict and such. So on May 17th, 1955, Nanny pled guilty and was sentenced to life in jail. Due to her gender, she was spared the death penalty. Strangely enough, she maintained that she was motivated by her love rather than money. And in 1965, Doss died of leukemia in the hospital ward of the Oklahoma State Penitentiary, where she was serving her life sentence. And that, my dear merbabes, is the end of the story of the giggling granny, grandma of the year, Miss Nanny Doss. So, merbabes, you tell me how you feel about this story, because this woman was cuckoo. Like, I cannot believe that she seriously murdered her grandchildren. You hear about husbands all the time, but I mean, really, you killed 2 of your daughters. You killed 2 of your grandchildren. You killed your mother-in-law, and you killed your own mother. Like, my mom gets on my nerves sometimes, but I never kill her. Lord, it's too much. It's too much. So anyway, merbabes, you just let me know down in the comment section below. How do you feel about Miss Giggling Granny Nanny Doss? All this that went on. How do you feel about it? I mean, like, what are your opinions on the situation? Do you honestly believe that she was truly motivated by love for her killings? Because I think that that's a load of malarkey. Anyway, guys, that about does it for the final episode of Serial Killer Saturdays, Volume 1. Volume 1. I really hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope you had as much fun listening as I did reading and learning about all these crazy characters. And I'm happy that you guys were able to join me on this wild journey of learning about these crazy women. If you enjoyed this series, make sure you give all of the videos a big old thumbs up. And I also created a playlist where all of the videos from Serial Killer Saturdays shall be added. And all of the future Serial Killer Saturday videos that I make will be added to that playlist as well. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And also make sure you hit that ding ding bell notification button so that way you can be notified whenever I am in the cove. And as always, merbabes, thank you so much for all of your love and support. I really appreciate it. I love y'all so much. I hope you all have a very safe Halloween. Oh, and also make sure you comment down below what you're going as for Halloween and what your Halloween plans are. Are you dressing up? Are you not dressing up? Are you going out and practicing social distancing while you're out? What's your plan? Comment down below what you're dressing up as. If you're not dressing up, if you're going out, if you're not going out. And if you do that, you might win a little something. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Again, I hope you guys have a wonderful and safe Halloween. And I will see you guys soon on my Instagram and maybe back here on the YouTubes because I've missed being on YouTube so much. But I like posting on Instagram a little bit better. So just stay tuned here and stay tuned to the Instagram too. And as always, guys, for the very last time this series, stay safe, stay spooky. Bye.